Hey there, welcome back to Tennille Talks. Y'all, so this reading is making me think of the fact that we are really all ingredients. And when we put ourselves together with specific people, sometimes you make a meal, you become something that is palatable. You blend whatever you are with another person, and when you serve yourself to the world, when you serve yourself to this life, you are ingested and digested a certain way. And so I'm thinking about like Blue Apron and HelloFresh. I've had those meal subscription services like in the past, right? And so you get a box of raw ingredients, and then you also get a recipe card, which is a picture card, and it tells you how to prepare these ingredients in order to make a tasty meal. And so you cross paths with a person. You were an ingredient and this person was an ingredient. But imagine like if you got the recipe card and the other person hadn't yet. Like they got the ingredients, but the recipe card didn't come with their kit. And so they have all of these pieces to make this meal, but and the recipe card is almost something that is imprinted on your soul. It is a soul memory. It is a soul gift. And it pops up. And when it pops up, you instantly get the feeling that you've done this before. Like you know how to assemble, prepare, chop, cut. You know how to put everything together so that you and this person can create something together. You can become a meal, right? And so in order for you to remember and somebody else doesn't remember, that's like you having a recipe card and somebody else not. This reading is saying that you cross paths with somebody and instantly your soul was able to remember and recognize who they were. They're coming up as a possible lost land. You can't really lose anything unless you at one point have found it. And so imagine in a past life you would cross paths with this specific person. And when you meet them in this lifetime, your soul remembers, right? Like you've been searching for something, but you don't know until you find it that you lost it and that you've actually been looking for it. You wake up to that truth. You wake up to the reality of your soul remembering something, right? This is about crossing paths with somebody that is familiar, not a familiar spirit, but like a soul that you have had seasons and lifetimes with. Now, the problem is not the fact that one has a recipe card and one doesn't. This soul does things to you in the process of them just being ignorant and not knowing how it was that you two were supposed to come together in order to create a meal in this lifetime. So the problem isn't the fact that they're ignorant. The problem isn't even necessarily about timing. Maybe everybody isn't supposed to wake up at the same time and understand what it is you're supposed to make together. But this is about integrity, respect, humility. And so this reading says that this person tried to trap you or victimize you or trick you, not recognizing that you were a component of a very important meal or recipe that they were supposed to cook in this lifetime. Like they came back to make one meal with you specifically, and you are an ingredient that doesn't exist anywhere else. And so yes, they can cross paths with a lot of other ingredients and make a lot of other meals, but those meals are not going to taste like what you and this person were supposed to create together. Now this person is almost waking up. It's like they finally got their recipe card in the mail, but it came too late. And it's not because and it didn't come late because they didn't know. It came late because in their ignorance, in the absence of the recipe card, they did some wicked or some evil or some nefarious things. There's somebody that wants to return to your life, and they are coming in the energy of merit making. They would like to show their goodness, their morality. They want to show you that they are a good human. And so the way they showed themselves to you the first time, it was very wicked. Okay. And so when this person is coming back, they are confused. They're confused because it's like they just got the memory. The gift of their soul has just returned, and they now recognize that you were a lost land. They recognize that you and them, you had done this dance, you had done this moment before, y'all, but they just didn't know. They just didn't know when you first crossed paths. And again, I think it's okay to not know, but to abuse somebody in the absence of you knowing is the problem. This person may be trying to communicate with you. I have the Eight of Wands, which talks about movement, momentum, travel, something, some type of change or shift happening. But the change or the shift that's happening is inside one of the people that has finally got to the moment in time where they were supposed to finally recognize a difference. This is like literally the recipe card has just gotten in the mail and they're like, oh my God, I remember. But now they recognize that they were under some type of illusion. Now they feel confused. But also one of you kind of has your hand up, kind of like, I don't care. And so the I don't care is coming out with one of my handmade cards. It says, we grow in tough times, not easy times. And so maybe this person comes back wanting to communicate, but they're not really being accountable. They're not really saying, maybe they're complaining that they were going through hard things. And because they were going through hard things, they treated you in a way that was really harsh. And so your response is, I don't care that times are tough. Like when things are tough, that's when we grow. We can't always live in easy moments because easy moments don't always afford us the ability to refine and to mature. And so this is somebody who's not recognizing that the tough seasons, those are those seasons of resistance, but it's because you're building something. And so they're not really being accountable, but yet they want to return and demonstrate some type of morality for the trap or the trick or whatever they did to kind of make you a victim. Okay? And so the reading begins with somebody asking you whether or not you can survive this. So we've just gone through this moment. We lived through this experience. You already, what I did to you was wrong, but I feel like we can survive this. Like we can build a relationship and we can get past this. We can have a new beginning. We can have new solutions. And it's because they recognize that you are high honor. So this is somebody treating you like trash, right? When the ingredient, y'all, I don't know, listen. This is like the ingredient box arrives to the house and you are the caviar and they treat you like some type of afterthought, right? Like they don't recognize what it took for you to become this type of food. They don't recognize like the price per ounce. They don't understand how palatable or how cherished or sought after your energy is. Like they just get you wrong. And so they're kind of like, what the fuck is this? Now they recognize, oh my God, you were caviar, like you were high honor. And so this person is in the energy of wanting to apologize. They're feeling guilty. They want to ask for forgiveness, but they also may have a confession. My handmade card, it says judgment is made upon assumption, appearance, and hearsay. And maybe looking at caviar is like not the most sexy thing that your eyes can see. And so this person will say, I apologize for not seeing you, not recognizing you, not really understanding that you had a level of honor and rank, like you had a platform or a pillar, not for the world to see because of some type of social standard, but really by where God placed you. Like you were an important ingredient that I really needed to make a meal, and I threw you away, or I just put a little piece of you in the meal. Like I didn't really take all of you. Now this person at some point, maybe they quit. Maybe they rejected you. Maybe they withdrew or pulled back. Now you knew that they had judged you. And you also understood that this could have been a person that judged you from hearsay. That's not always a strong quality. If I don't like you or if I don't really rock with you, it is because I had an exchange with you either once or twice or a few more times that really didn't give me a sense of peace, comfort, or ease. And so if I pull back from you, it is because I had an exchange with you that told me that that was the best way to approach you, right? Listen, there are some times when you meet people and they are absolutely an ingredient to a meal that you're supposed to make. But y'all know sometimes in the process of cooking, sometimes you might add too much salt and you just can't eat that shit and you got to throw it away. Sometimes you cook something too long to the point of burning it and it is no longer something that you can ingest, digest, or eat. Like it won't nourish you. You got to throw it away. And so just because you get with a person and you're in a process of making a meal, it doesn't mean that in the end when you're done cooking it's palatable. example, some shit you just cook and throw it away, but you're supposed to learn how to cook. You're like, you know what, next time I'm not going to use so much salt. Next time I'm going to turn the heat down. Sometimes we cook literally to throw it away. We don't always cook to eat. Right? We just practice the process. This person, y'all were supposed to be a meal, right? Like some good shit. Now, this person is going to almost, here's the shady part. They recognize your high honor and they want to offer you something. They want to offer an investment, some type of opportunity, right? And so this card is saying, like, be mindful of the intention behind them saying, we can survive this. We can do this again. We have, be mindful, because they're coming up with 4 pentacles. And so what this person is not telling you is that, like, financially, they are trying to hold and cling on to all of the money they have. And so their own stability, this is like, sometimes you get an ingredient to cook and it's like on its last leg, you're like, this cucumber got like 6 hours left until it's dead, but you literally just bought it from the store that day. And so when this person comes back to you, they are not as fresh as they were when you first crossed paths. If y'all would have just followed the recipe card and put yourself together, you would have been a meal that was presentable. But if you start trying to cook with this person now, this is almost some type of ingredient that you would have to throw it away because it has lived longer, it is expired. And so this person in their own life is like an ingredient that is about to expire. And so they're trying to cling on to something that has life. And the thing that still has life is the very thing that they rejected or overlooked or judged or assumed. Okay. So part of their reason for trying to bind with you is because they got 4 pentacles. They're kind of being greedy, stingy. They're holding on to everything they have. They don't want to lose anymore, but they recognize that you are a source of gain. This person is going to describe to you that they are finally ready to make moves. So this could have been somebody that was dragging their feet. They weren't really being honest. They were stuck in a variety of different places. So they really couldn't move with you. And it says that they had some type of chain on them. Now they're coming up as a King of Wands. Okay. So the King of Wands is, this is somebody who's got some sex appeal, some charisma, wit, humor. This is like a boss. They could be an entrepreneur or a business owner, but this is somebody who's just a leader. Whatever position they do in life, whether they have a boss or not, they are going to be a leader in their position. And so this is somebody who's finally ready to jump in and to say yes to change. Whatever the adventure was where they pulled back from you last time, it's like, now I got my recipe card. I know how to cook. I know, can we jump in again? Can we try to cook again? Can we try to put ourselves together? But remember, they're going to expire. If you do nothing with them, they're going to have to be tossed out eventually, like in order to become fresh again. Like just this experience. And what I mean by them expiring, it's almost like they got to come back refined and reformed. They're still trying to get to a quality outcome, but they're kind of ignoring, they're not being accountable for why they are late, right? And so this King of Wands, I have a card here. It says, you don't own me. This is about detachment, domination, escaping, and freedom. So this person may have tried to possess you or bind you. They also come out as the Adinkra symbol for a chain. When you look at a chain, it's really a bunch of individual links that have been put together to make a whole piece. And so the strength of the link is not really as significant as the strength of the chain. And so this person may say that he was in a situation where he couldn't move. I have courthouse. Like he could say, legally, I was bound to something. Legally, I was bound to someone. Now, this could have been a truth that they told you or didn't tell you, but you still could have known in your soul that there was something that was keeping this person from escaping. There was something dominating him. He was chained to something. I have unity and community. Now, I also get this is that this person could have tried to chain you to him, because these are all spiritual things. And so this is almost saying I was bound to a community. I broke free from a community that was possessing me. A community can be your family. You could just be united with toxic people who tell you some toxic shit that you are toxic enough to believe, right? So he will say, I was attached to something, but they're also coming out as a King of Wands. And so I feel like following all of that fire and the passion in them, it got them caught up in some legal situations that really stopped them from moving and grooving the way that they would have wanted to. This person is coming out as being under some type of illusion, daydreaming, just really not being present, not being here. But again, I hear this as being all blame. Now, then I get the energy of a hater. And so this person is stingy, their money's low, they're hanging on to something, they're coming out in the energy of the King of Wands, but like now they got good news, they got surprised, they have a miracle, now they have something that's encouraging. And I feel like that was the background information. What they weren't telling the truth about before, like now they're wanting to tell the truth. But is it too late? Like sometimes you're just supposed to get together so that you can mess up the process of being a good meal, because at some point down the line, you are going to meet a better ingredient where you can really create a better meal with. This could have played out as it was always supposed to play out. Y'all were never supposed to become a meal, but you were absolutely supposed to go through the process of cooking or of recognizing all the ingredients and the components of what y'all just had to offer each other. I have a priestess here. And so on one side of the courthouse, we have high honor. That's you. On the other side of the courthouse, we have a priestess. And so this person is going to almost introduce a new party. Now, this could be a person that was already in their life and given them trouble. You could have had conversations about this person, but this is like an ingredient from another meal that they made in the past. And it's just like it was in their refrigerator, old and stinky, and they never threw it away. And so when you walk into their house, you smell this ingredient. You're like, what is that smell? And they got something old in their refrigerator, something they're not cooking with, something they can't make a good meal with, but it's like they won't throw it away. That looks like an old relationship. It looks like somebody that they were bound to, but this person is coming up as a priestess. I have a card here. It talks about watering your garden. And so this is a garden. They could have had a past person that they had built with, and it's almost like they were bound to them. They couldn't make moves with you. And so they felt like, well, fuck it. If I'm in this situation, I might as well continue to nourish it. There's something, y'all. So there could be another player they introduced. But this person is going to say that they have found some type of evidence. They've investigated, they've detected, like they found that there was some type of professional, the person that intervened, the person that didn't allow them to recognize that you two were a great match, right? So he's going to say, or she is going to say, I was bound to someone or something, but also I didn't recognize that we were a great match. I didn't know that I was supposed to be watering my garden with you because there was some type of hater. I had this stankin' ass zucchini that had been sitting in my refrigerator, stinking up my house, right? And like, I hadn't learned how to manage my stress. I didn't learn how to manage my emotions. So I didn't know how to clean out the things that were stinky or foul. I didn't know how to clean out the people, places, things, habits, or behaviors that were lingering, right? I can't use them, but it's like I'm keeping them with me. And so now when I try to make a meal, like I'm bringing stinky ingredients with me that aren't even a part of what we're supposed to create together. Like that is what I'm seeing here. But this person is going to say that they found proof of a priestess who was a hater, who had maybe gone to some type of professional, right? So they didn't know you were a great match because somebody did something to hide the fact. Somebody stole their recipe card, right? And so the reason why their recipe card didn't come in the mail is because somebody literally made sure they didn't get the soul memory. They didn't get the soul gift, and that they never were supposed to really remember that you two had met, you had done this before, you'd made a meal in another life. Maybe you're coming back together because you got to make the third course, something like that, you know. But the reason why their recipe card was missing, they will tell you why. Okay, they'll tell you why, and it's about somebody else that they were honestly bound to. So y'all, that is the reading. That is the reading. And I do have an energy of like the white bull. This is about masculine energy, power, dominance, leadership, authority, being able to command and rule with strength. The priestess is coming up as a white bull. So there could have been a priestess who professionally did something to remove the soul memory or the recipe card. But again, even if somebody intervenes, it was always written that there would be some type of interference. And when interference happens and when you are ignorant of the connection, but you act like a fool, like part of the reason why you act like a fool is because you need to see what was in you. Okay, you know what I'm saying? So even not recognizing is on that was the plan, to not be known, to not be recognized, for them not to remember, for a third party to interrupt. But how do you go forward? Do you agree to cook again? Do you agree to get back in the kitchen and to kind of put yourselves together and to kind of continue what it is you were supposed to prepare? Or was the timing always supposed to be the timing? You had the recipe card and the knowledge and they didn't. They did something to trick you or to harm you or to victimize you until the recipe card returned. But now you're off to making another meal, or do you backpedal and cook with them? I don't know. So y'all, that is the reading. That is what I get. So somebody is recognizing finally that you are a lost land. Okay. All right. I love you. I'll see you on the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.